This is part 2 of the serial killer John Getreu. Now, you don't have to go back and watch the first episode of this because this is so good. You're going to absolutely love it. Greg, tell them about the videos we're going to watch.
Yeah, so Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office provided this video to us, and Scott stitched together the sound and the video, so he did a great job on that, and thanks, Scott. Abigail sent it to us from there, and we have been in touch at least to say, nice job, Detective Cortez. This guy was convicted in 1963 of killing a young girl in Germany, and then 2 other convictions in the U.S. Wait till you see this interrogation.
Yeah.
I know I asked you that, if you ever stop to help out anybody on the side of the road. Did you ever see this young lady? Do you know her?
No, who's that?
It's a young lady that, an investigation I'm doing, and she was murdered. Do you ever see her at all?
No.
Does she look familiar? Again, I mentioned to you that she was murdered up in the hills west of Stamford, again by Page Mill Road.
Yeah, I know where Page Mill is.
Do you remember Page Mill? And there's Old Page Mill, the side road that goes up to 280.
No.
Did you ever stop there at all?
No. Old Page, unless I come in from
So if you're going from...
coming from back at Stanford to near the golf course straight through
Okay.
and up the hill, or through Alma.
Okay.
That's the only times I've been up that way.
Okay. Did you own a pet back then, in the early 70s? Did you ever own a
I
pet?
don't remember.
Did you own a dog?
A what?
A dog?
Yeah, I've got one now.
No, I mean, did you own a dog back when you were living in Palo
I've
Alto?
owned so many dogs so many times, I don't know.
Okay.
And cats.
Well, I mean, I think you would remember if you had a dog living on Alma with Sue.
I don't remember.
Okay. Okay.
Because a lot of apartments don't allow pets.
Oh, I see.
So,
So both your residents in Palo Alto, Alma and Avalon, were apartments?
yes,
Okay. Okay.
at least I think so.
Okay. Are you familiar with DNA?
Yeah.
Okay. Would there any? I think I asked you. Would there be any reason for your DNA to be on this young lady here?
No.
Okay. Because you said you didn't know her.
I don't even recognize her. She don't even look familiar.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
So one of the things that we see him do, we saw him do in the first video, but we'll mention again, is he does this dismissal with his left hand of most things he doesn't like, which is a beautiful thing. He does a one-handed discard as he's holding onto that photo just a little bit longer and puts it in his left hand, which is interesting, before handing it back. I think the guy is trying to see what they have on him. I think when you're doing we know all, which is an interrogation approach, one of the many things you may use is a bait question. The other is a file and dossier. And a file and dossier is you throw something down on the counter. Scott, the thing you call thwack, Scharf would have called that the file and dossier. And it's a standard interrogation ploy used across the world in intelligence interrogation all the time. We bring in a file, and even in today's world where people have laptops and phones in their hands, still bring in a file, because you can have hazy looking photos and all kinds of stuff in there. And the more stuff you have in there, the more believable it is. And you can see this.
Blank DVD.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anything you want to put in there, anything, because they don't know what you're doing, and you control the output of it as you're doing it. And that we know all is a hard interrogation ploy to pull off, because an amateur interrogator goes from we know all to we don't know shit by saying something is not true that the source knows is not true. This guy is not an amateur. This guy's masterful. He's pushing this guy. And when Cortez, this Detective Cortez, pushes Getreu, we hear one of the best examples of Scott's fading facts I've ever heard. He just starts to go, you can't even hear him now, although he was dynamic and talking before. And now he knows where Page Mill Road is again, where he had just denied it last time. And then this detective starts to close this concentric loop. One of the 2 different styles of interrogation questioning, I always say, are that scattergun kind, that's the Columbo, one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. Or there's this concentric circles kind of tightening the rope. And he's doing a great job. He gets him to say that He knows where Page Mill Road is, but he doesn't call him on it. He just lets that sit there, hang out in the air. If you watch, we see Getreu go to his stress move. He puts his hands on his head, relaxing his under his arms. And I think, Chase, you said he looks a little bit like Chris Watts to you. He does some feigned misunderstanding about whether he has a dog now or then. And then he explains why he wouldn't know. But he forgets to remember to forget. We'll use that term for a second, because he says they both were apartments. Now he can't pretend that he doesn't remember other things in that time frame, because he's remembering details way too quickly. This concentric circles of questioning are starting to put real power on him. And then when he says, he says no, there's no reason my DNA should be on there, instead of a slim chance. But he's still fading facts and just drifts off the end. It's a beautiful watch that this guy's starting to have an impact on him, and he can feel the rope starting to tighten, even though it's not really made contact with his neck yet. We'll see it get much better. Scott, what do you got?
All right. I really like this one, because theoretically his stress level would be rising if he were a normal person. But we see a lot of the cues that say that they're rising. However, in my opinion, I don't think they are, because I believe this guy's a psychopath from his history and the things he's done up to this point. But what we're seeing things like the loss of volume. He slows down a little bit. We're seeing these jerky little movements. And when he talks, it gets jerky as well. That's because his brain is needed to go ahead and deconflict what he's getting ready to say and has said already. So it's taken up a lot of the RAM in there. So he's having to wait and he's using one part to think stuff up, to deconflict, and the other part of it to talk and to try to look normal. That's what's happening. That's why we're seeing all these little jerky movements and the slow down, the log jam of him talking. Now, when I do that, it's different, because I get so fired up about this stuff, I can't hardly stand it. I just keep talking, and my words start running over themselves. But in this case, he's not doing that. He's not talking really fast. He's talking at a fairly normal speed, but things are blocking up on him, and they're turning into a log jam. So, and I think the hands on his head, to me, the hands are behind his head. And I think that's alleviating the stress of his shoulders and his arms. In one case, I think Mark had it, he was pressing himself down a little bit, which I think looks different from this, because I think he needs that. He's trying to relax himself a little bit and possibly, ventilating as well. But I don't think that's as big a deal to him as stretching his muscles. And I think this Detective Cortez is doing a great job, especially with the bait question again, because it flows really smoothly and he delivers it flawlessly. So me personally, it doesn't count because I'm not there and all that. But I got the feeling hitting it harder when you see that. You go, why didn't he hit harder on this? But there's got to be some kind of reasoning with him why he didn't go in for the kill like that, because the door was wide open. But we know now, later, if he had then he wouldn't have found out some other stuff.
The mainstream media is not broken at all. It is functioning exactly as it was designed. It exists to manipulate you, to divide you, to feed you fear and outrage and distraction while pretending all of that is information. And most people are still swallowing it like it's gospel. I've spent years studying propaganda and psychological operations and human behavior, and I will tell you this plainly. The media is not here to tell you the truth. It's here to shape your truth without you even realizing it. Every network, every outlet, left or right or center, they are all playing the exact same game. Keep you emotionally hijacked, cognitively blind, and addicted to narratives engineered by people who have zero interest in informing you at all. So they manufacture a bunch of division. They amplify lies and they bury stories that threaten their control. This is not journalism. This is mass psychological warfare. This is why we use ground news. It is not just a news app. It is a tactical weapon for seeing through all this fog. Ground news pulls in all these stories from every source, whether it's liberal or conservative or state-run, corporate-owned, billionaire-owned, and they show you these biases and the ownership of who owns the outlet that wrote that article, the spin. And then finally, my favorite is what is being left out of that article. I always talk about let's look for what's missing. They do that at ground news. So you're going to watch these narratives fracture in real time. You're going to be able to spot manipulation like it is lit up in neon. And once you see how disgustingly coordinated all this stuff is, you're not going to be able to unsee it. The behavior panel never really partners with very many brands. But ground news is way different. It puts the power back into people's hands instead of the news. So go to ground.news/TBP, scan the QR code, or hit the link in the description. We've got you 40% off of the same plan that we use. So don't keep trusting the people reading scripts for billionaires. Stop being programmed and start seeing the depth of what is actually going on.
So he's playing it. I don't. People like this are such pros at interrogating. You can tell he's done that forever. He has it down. And I know we're all getting excited about this guy, but it's really good. If when you see something like this, you want to point it out and talk about it. So he saw that, I guess, coming. There was going to be. He knew there was more coming, or had a gut feeling there was more there. That's why he's laying low and not going in for the kill right there, going in for an attack and or confronting him. In other words, so I'll leave it there because I'll go on forever. I'll be up this guy's hind end so far. It's not even funny. Chase, what do you got?
So one thing I always ask is, what's missing? What's missing here in this? And just in case you ever, like, what does Chase mean by that? In our notes, and you can download all of our notes in the link in the description of this video. And I put in there every situation you could possibly face in a situation like this, and what might be missing, and what are the indicators of it. So I put a big resource in there for you that you can grab in the description. But what is missing? There's no shock, no surprise at the investigator's mention of the murder. And one thing that is missing, if someone starts asking you questions like, have you been here? Did you travel here? Did you do this? Eventually, you're going to ask when. When did I do this? When are you asking about it? There's no time frame, no question about the details of the murder. So innocent people want to know what's going on. They're not going to hide their need to understand. So when the curiosity about what the police are doing is concealed, and I want you to pay close attention to this, the curiosity of the suspect about what's going on with the police side, when that's concealed, it's one of the biggest things to pay attention to, because honest people, innocent people will still be curious about what the hell's going on, especially if it sounds like they're being accused. And Greg, you're right. We see a lot more of this Chris Watts behavior here. He's got a postural retreat, then arms over his head. This is surrender in some ways. It's also a way that we calm ourselves down, our nervous system. Still no questions as to why he's being asked this stuff. Massive red flag. Maybe one of the top 5 in the world. If you're getting asked questions and all you do is deny stuff and you're not ever asking, why are you asking me this? Massive red flag to me. No curiosity might be the biggest red flag as well. So hands are shaking when he's looking at this photo. This is a tremor response that happens. Our body has a lot of adrenaline. It makes these little tremors. This is called a distal tremor. So like stuff that's further away from the head, it gets harder to control. But he says she doesn't even look familiar. I'm sorry. This is a response to looking at a photo of a woman that he killed. So Scott, I'm with you. I think we have psychopathy. There's no clinical definition of what that is, but I think whatever that means, that this is it.
He's got it.
He's got it. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah. Look, in the first video that we watched, I mean, back in the first episode about this person, worth going back if you fancy it and taking a look at that. Finish this one first, though. He does do suppression and then goes back to this, what I called at the time extreme venting. There are many reasons why somebody might do that, and I think it could be many and all of the reasons we put forward. There's a stretch there. Chase, there's a mood change there. It's almost like a big yawn not a yawn here, but the whole body yawning, which, dogs yawn in order to move their mood. We yawn in order to tell other human beings we're in a mood change. We're wanting to go to sleep now. So it's a big signal, and that's the most important thing, whether he's letting off heat or whether he's stretching his muscles or whatever it is. It's a significant change that happens here. And really, in the world of body language, that's the main thing you want to be looking at is there's a significant change. Where is it? Maybe not even why is it, but where is it? The significant change here is that's the only time I've been up that way. And that's where this whatever it is, we all know the movement, but whatever it means, it's around that idea. And so I'm going, well, I think that's probably not true. I don't think that's the only time you've been up that way. I think there's probably been many times you've cased that area or you've been up that way. You know, that is a significant area for you because there was a significant change there. There's lots of kind of creeping mini confessions in there, you know, this kind of creep of, well, yeah, I have been there then, and there is this. And that's why I think, you know, there's a war of attrition going on here. Just as you say, Greg, these concentric circles going on. The interviewer here is relentlessly, forcefully nudging this guy along, and he's consistently getting lovely little results that are going to build up over time into something incredibly significant, maybe more significant than he thought he would get in this situation. But you'd never get it if you came in, just as you're saying, Scott, with that kind of hard, like, you know, oh, I've got your bang to rights. Well, therefore, that would close him down completely. It's lovely because it's like he doesn't want to close him down. It's like he doesn't want to close this. He doesn't want to close this until he absolutely has to, you know? And so that's beautiful to see. Just one last thing on this is when he's got that photograph, he is kind of deciding that he doesn't know it. And there's a moment where he kind of points at it and then decides not to. It's a lovely little moment where he almost got another little mini confession out of him or mini recognition out of him. But again, the interviewer here, I'm pretty sure probably saw that, and he doesn't force it. You know, I myself would probably have gone, hey, so I felt like you noticed something there. Like, what was that? I'd have done that. Listen, that's my style. It might be the wrong thing to do. I mean, you never know, do you? There's technique and there's process, and then there's what actually happens and what you do, given the choices that you make along the way. And so lovely to see this guy's choices along the way. Greg, so it looked like you wanted to.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mark, what you just described is interesting because in the intelligence interrogation world, you don't close. You keep moving along and you keep pulling information. And we would use, I would think always of read as a closing tool. And when there's a time to get a confession, then I can minimize the confession and say, so what? I just want to know this. So what we're seeing here is a guy who would be able to switch gears and run into that world fairly quickly.
And I think what you said, Mark, about him casing the place, I think he was hunting. Because there's a guy missing up, or a guy who committed suicide up there as well. I don't know what the story is on that, but I think he was up there hunting people. Like that other guy we talked about from Interview with a Killer, with David's thing. The guy was up there calling the what was it, the mountain something?
Blood Mountain. Yep.
Yeah, and he was hunting up there. He was hunting for people up there. That's all he was doing.
Appalachian
I think it's similar. Yeah. All right.
I know I asked you that, you know, if you ever stop to help out anybody on the side of the road. Did you ever see this young lady? Do you know her?
No, who's that?
It's a young lady that an investigation I'm doing, and she was murdered. Do you ever see her at all?
No.
She look familiar? Again, I mentioned to you that she was murdered up in the hills west of Stamford. Again, by Page Mill Road.
Yeah, I know where Page Mill is.
Do you remember Page Mill? And there's Old Page Mill, the side road that goes up to 280.
No.
Did you ever stop there at all?
No. Old Page, unless I come in from...
So if you're going from...
Coming from back at Stanford near the golf course straight through.
Okay.
And up the hill, or through Alma.
Okay.
That's the only times I've been up that way.
Okay. Did you own a pet back then, in the early 70s? Did you ever own a
I
pet?
don't remember.
Do you own a dog?
A what?
A dog?
Yeah, I've got one now.
No, I mean, did you own a dog back when you were living in Palo Alto?
I've owned so many dogs so many times, I don't know.
Okay.
And cats.
Well, I mean, I think you would remember if you had a dog living on Alma with Sue.
I don't remember.
Okay. Okay.
Because a lot of apartments don't allow pets.
Oh, I see.
So,
So both your residents in Palo Alto, Alma and Avalon, were apartments?
yes,
Okay. Okay.
at least I think so.
Okay. Are you familiar with DNA?
Yeah.
Okay. Would there any? I think I asked you. Would there be any reason for your DNA to be on this young lady here?
No.
Okay. Because you said you didn't know her.
I don't even recognize her. She don't even look familiar.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Would you have any idea this murder I'm investigating in 1973?
On where?
A murder in 1973.
Investigating.
Investigating. I'm doing the investigation on this murder.
Man, they got you loaded with several of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this one in 1973 was of this young lady I showed you the picture of.
Yeah.
Would there be any reason why you're involved in this
Yeah,
murder?
why am I involved in that? You say DNA now.
Sure. Yeah. Would there be any reason for your DNA to be on her?
No, definitely it would be no.
Okay. Do you know the name Leslie Perlov? Leslie Perlov?
No.
No? Okay. She wasn't a girlfriend of yours?
Oh, no.
Okay. I had to ask.
She's cute anyway.
Yeah, very,
That would
very
be
cute.
she'd be about 18 years old, I guess.
Okay.
At Stanford. Yeah, Stanford graduate. Yeah. But that's it. I don't even recognize her.
Why do you say she's a Stanford graduate?
Well, just by the way she dresses and all in
Okay.
this area,
Sure.
But, I didn't say graduate either. I said, she's a college kid.
Oh, okay. Now I know you heard about the guy that committed suicide in those
Yeah.
hills. At the same time, her murder came out at the same time. Do you recall seeing that in the paper? I mean,
No.
it was out there.
No.
Okay. So, and I know that you said your DNA would not be on her, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't be. I mean, not.
Yeah.
Why it should? I didn't even date a girl then.
Okay. You were married at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any idea who would do something like that back then?
Well, I don't know DNA. If it's so many points on DNA, couldn't be somebody else
Sure.
unless there's somebody in my chain or something, or the chain.
Okay.
All right, Chase, what do you got?
You still got to beat Scott.
Oh, we got one then.
Yeah.
Oh, we got one. But
Man,
Scott, you were just too enthusiastic.
I was
Never
starting to
been
Google that
enthusiastic.
because before we came in, you were talking. I was like, he's muted. And I was like, mm-hmm. Oh, wow. So I couldn't wait to get back. All right. Sorry. Go ahead, Chase.
This is so uncomfortable to watch.
Oof.
And like he says, I don't know her. And then 3 seconds later, he knows her again. It's unbelievable. It's uncomfortable in a way like when you watch Meet the Parents the first time. You remember that? With Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Rob De Niro.
Yeah.
I was super uncomfortable watching that movie. And that's what it feels like. Just watching him go through this is bizarre. This investigator here, I think Detective Cortez, is asking really good bait questions here. He says, would there be any reason your DNA would be on this woman? So when you ask a bait question, let me give you one tip on how to crank up a bait question to 11 here. Number 1, develop a behavior profile. Like you need to know who you're speaking to. Number 2, talk about what they want to be seen as. Significant, intelligent, smart, whatever. 3, tell them you appreciate them and that you think they are not a bad person. So you're going to give them this clear warning. And 4, talk about science and effort. Those are the steps. So you might say something like, what's this guy's name, John? The suspect.
Mhm.
So you might say, John, I know that you spend a lot of your personal time at the church volunteering to help people, and you volunteered to educate a lot of kids. So I think it's important that I tell you that I'm about to ask you a very serious question. I want you to think really carefully before you answer. What you say to this question is very important, okay? Our forensics team, so now we're in the science and data part. Our forensics team has been out there. We have some of the most advanced equipment in the world. We can even get DNA off of an ancient mummy if we wanted to. And our cold case team has dedicated over 35 hours of this week alone to this investigation. That makes the stress associated with deception to the bait question super high. And am I missing something here? Does he say he doesn't know her and then he talks about knowing her, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he knows who she is as well.
Okay.
I think he says he knows her.
Yeah, I mean, he basically puts forward some profile ideas. She's a Stanford student.
That's right. He gives up guilty knowledge. Is
Yeah.
what it is. Yep.
Yeah,
Says she's a graduate.
graduate.
How do you know she was a graduate?
Yeah. But then when he asks him about the DNA, he has the largest hesitancy, which is our pause we've seen so far. As he's making the denial, there's his signature little hand flip there, and it's flipping out. And we saw this in the last video we did. We saw it in video 1 that Greg talked about. It's just perfect. But his denial of, I didn't even date a girl then, is hiding a gigantic secret. Why would he say, I didn't even date a girl then? He's assuming that the DNA is vaginal. And Cortez didn't say that at all. So if you think about that for a second, the explaining DNA is a huge catch I think the interrogator is actually looking for. The question he's asking are part of a sequence that you go through. And there's, Scott can maybe expound on this, but there's an interview is the first part, interrogation is the second part. It's not two different people. So you start off by asking these, Reed technique has 12 questions that you go through. And if they answer a certain way, then you shift to an interrogation. And they're two different things. But he's still in the interview phase. He's going through the basic, the Reed technique, like almost line for line here, which is fantastic to see. Scott, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. When you first start, you've got to find out what you're dealing with. You've got to make decisions about what you're dealing with. So that's why you have those two differences. And if they start down, once you ask a question, they start down that road where okay, they do know something, or okay, here's the way it looks now. That's when you go down the interrogation thing. But you're basically just trying to build rapport and stuff anyway there at the top. So that's the reason for the interview part of it. And you ask them questions that you know the answer to already. And sometimes it takes a while. You can hang out and you know where this guy's from. And then, so you may have said this, I'm going to go find out what restaurants are around where he lives. So you'll ask, there's let's say, a Sizzler there. So you ask him about that. Then you make up a place, called, Tommy's Tacos. And then you say, my aunt lives there, because you act like you're waiting on something. You can kind of hang out as you're talking. It's almost like you're waiting for something to happen. You say, so you got a Sizzler. Yeah, I've been to my aunt lives there. They just got a Sizzler over there. Have you ever been to that? Oh yeah, I love it. It's really great. What about Tommy's? There's a place I love, Tommy's Tacos. You ever been there to Tommy's? And if he goes, and you can see where he's looking, see how he acts when he's trying to think it up, or if he's going to not, for some reason, be honest about it, then he'll tell you that, and you'll know what he's looking like when he's not being honest in a situation like that. It's not, you can't say he looks like this every time he lies, but it gives you a pretty good idea of what he looks like when he starts lying, how fast he's going to start talking, all that. So that's the main reason you have the interview part before you get into the interrogation part there. But getting back to this thing, when he says they've loaded you up with several of them, when he's talking about the murders, that's what Getreu says. And so what he's trying to do is trying to connect it with Detective Cortez, so he can still look like he's not concerned. Because up to this point, he's trying to act like he's not concerned. It's no big deal. He doesn't know what he's talking about, all those kind of things. But then Cortez falls right in. He just keeps going, keeps things calm and friendly and all that. But they're both running these scenarios in their head, and Getreu is deconflicting things. And then over here, Cortez is running through saying, no, where am I going to go with this? What's he going to say? He just said this, so I've got to do that. There's a lot going on there. And Greg always uses this as an example. It looks like it's like not a lot going on, especially from the interrogator's situation. So it's like a duck on top of the water. You see this, or those geese, it's just like cruising along on top of the water. But if you were to look down below the water, you see those feet going like this, pumping really fast to get them to move along. And that's what's happening. There's a whole lot going on, but you don't see it because all of it's going on there in their head right now. There's a big game being played right there. So when Cortez gets to the bait question, his cadence speeds up a little bit, and he's scooted closer, and he's so excited. You can hear his hand when he says, would there be any reason for you to be involved with this murder? And when he does that, you can hear his hand slap together. Then he does it again almost 8 seconds later when he's asking about his DNA being on the girl. That's how excited he is about this. But seems to be calm, and he's talking normal, or fairly normal, a little bit fast. And at the same time, he's rubbing his hands, he's clicking that pen. But if you just look at him from the outside like that, if you don't know what to look for, then you'll see a person who's calm. But you can see a person who's excited if you know these other things to look for. That's why I think we're all excited about this guy, because we see what he's going through. We're sort of going through it with him. So then after this short discussion about the victim and looking at the picture, he says, I don't even recognize her. Well, you say that when you're familiar with that person. It'd be like if I saw a picture of Mark when he was 7, I don't even recognize him when he's 7. He had short hair back then. I don't even recognize him. So that would suggest that I had familiarity with him now, and that was him back then. So I think that's what's going on there, because I think he may have been a friend or an acquaintance with this girl, or maybe, like we were talking about earlier, maybe he was just hunting and ran across her while he was hunting. I don't know what the situation is there, but it sounds to me like he was aware of her anyway. And then with all the different people being brought up from all the other unsolved murders and stuff, this shows we're seeing an example of what happens with serial killers and why they get away with things. Because this guy's gone 45 years without getting in trouble for this, without going to prison for it. So what happens a lot of times, you'll have a series of killings, and you'll say, this has got to be somebody killing this. Somebody's got to be doing this. We just can't find them. And then one day it just stops because that serial killer never got caught, and he's either died or he's gone to prison for something else. And in this case, this guy's just old, and I think he stopped. I would be under the impression he stopped a while back, and that's why they haven't caught him, because it just ended before he got caught. He knew enough to get out early. And now they're catching up with him. So, but back to the answer about the bait question. The answer to that question, when he says, is there any reason your DNA would be on here? The answer isn't, it shouldn't be on there. The answer is, shit, no, not my DNA. What are you talking about? If it's on there, then you guys put it on. I had nothing. No. Let me spit in this jar, pee in something. You can take, here's some blood of mine, whatever. Let's find out if you got the right DNA. That's where you'll go. Because you're talking about going to the being, you get the bang bang there, or you're going to prison for life. That's what's happening. So that's why you'd want to know. That's why you'd be upset. That's why you become emotional about that. But nothing from this guy at all. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, look, for me, this interviewer, I love him. He's great, because it's a great example of just the soft relentlessness of it. Because he gets that photo back in his hand again. It goes away, and out it comes again. And in a later video, so stick with this, because in a later video, we're going to see him overload this person with these photographs. It is brilliant what he's doing there. I mean, I learned a lot from this, especially that later video that we'll see, just how brilliant he is at putting a piece of evidence away and then bringing it out again and getting it in his hand. And it's just this relentless tap on the forehead that he's giving him. And as you said, Scott, this guy is maybe not showing a great deal of anxiety in this situation, but he definitely is getting cognitive load and cognitive overload. And I think, redistributing that photo to him, re-asking these questions, the soft relentlessness of it is just tapping on his brain and overloading it. So he'll say things like, she's a Stanford graduate. It's like, you shouldn't know that.
That's right.
Well,
Guilty knowledge. Yep.
Yeah, it's guilty knowledge. And how would you? Well, the way she's dressed. So what? She's there with a mortarboard on that? I don't think so. with the graduation certificate?
Sweater.
No,
Sweater.
no, not at all. So look, all I want to say about this is just it's brilliant how he puts the evidence away and then brings it out again. I mean, it's not even evidence actually. What it is just a stimulus.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just bringing in the stimulus. The guy rejects the stimulus. He puts it back. He gives it again. Here, have another shot of that. I mean, it's genius. It really is. Greg, what do you got on this one?
Well, what's beautiful about what he's doing here is he is getting guilty knowledge, which is much better than getting an all-out confession right up front, because now we got evidence that he should not have known, and that's a tripwire that we can use in court. Because there are places, I believe even California may have just outlawed in some of the counties Reed, because Reed is so aggressive and progressive at getting closure. This is not going to fall apart because you're getting the guy to tell you things that nobody knew, where the body was, that kind of stuff. That's what you're after. And Chase, I think he doesn't use the compounded, I mean, your example of a compounded question for a bait question is a beautiful one. I think he intentionally doesn't go so compound.
He doesn't. I don't think he needs it.
He's corralling. He's using it to poke and prod and drive and turn. And he's tightening that circle. I love watching this. He reminds me, I think I told you guys, there's a woman I worked with for years named Dora Vasquez-Hellner. She's a retired Army interrogator. Brilliant questioner, one of the best in the world. And she would do this just with questioning, just tighten in and tighten in and tighten in. She was with me on We Can Make You Talk on the History Channel, and she just progressively tightened around this guy's neck to where he just had nowhere to go. It's a beautiful thing to watch when a person gets it. And Scott, I think you're dead on in this. He's on two tracks. And Mark, I think you're dead on. He's pushing him so hard. His brain is trying to deconflict and trying to answer and thinking about what he knows and how to avoid it. And I think that's why he says she was a Stanford grad. I think he's dursting. He doesn't know which voice is talking. He's letting it come out loud and say something that doesn't make sense. That's when your will is trying to say one thing, your mouth wants to say another, and you get so heated up in your processor that you can't do anything.
It's an ancient story of Slim Shady and Eminem.
Who's Shady?
That's a good one.
Who's Shady?
Slim Shady.
I thought you said Slum Shady. How does that
Whichever
go?
one's coming out. But I agree with you guys when there should be an answer when he says, is there your DNA on this person? Is there any way? Shouldn't be is the stupidest answer we can see. Let's look at a cluster of behavior there. That left hand of dismissal. Shouldn't be. Up talk. It shouldn't be. He's got a nervous laugh. And then he actually doesn't answer. He goes, you know, and he does then he shows concern in his brow and he goes to say, I didn't even date a girl then. And I think at this point, Cortez notices something because he does something I've used in an interrogation room many times. When you're interrogating and you need a piece of video very quickly and you're going to be in there for an hour or two, you may do something you don't usually do. And we see him press on the side of his head here. He's done a lot of this. It's the first time we see him doing this. That makes it easy to find that evidence when you need it later instead of having to figure out where you're at in the tape. And he sniffs at the same time. So I'm thinking maybe there's some reason he's marking it. Possibly, maybe not. But then I love watching, Mark, to your point, him bring things out of his bag of tricks, show it to him, put it back away, and do we know all beautifully in this file and dossier that he keeps doing. And you can see that now Getreu is starting to look at the notes like they're important. That's a good indicator. That's your first indicator that it's working. And then he's threat checking it constantly. And you can see him starting to raise a little bit of stress in him. I think for a guy this age, I think he's 74 in this video. That's a fair amount of movement and a fair amount of activity for a guy that age. I love the way this guy has an insinuated we know all and that bag of tricks and in orchestration. He's putting a lot of pressure on this guy, and the pressure is coming not in the form of we know you did it, as we always joke around about, but it's consuming this guy to the point that he can't come up with answers to normal questions. And I think in the very end of this, we see him starting to scramble for how his body, he could have gotten DNA on the body. And that's what his brain is working on that's causing him to say these words out loud that he shouldn't say. But a beautiful piece of guilty knowledge comes out. We got two now. That's all I got.
I'll give you that one, Mark.
Yeah, of course.
Would you have any idea this murder I'm investigating in 1973?
On where?
A murder in 1973. Investigating. I'm doing the investigation on this murder.
Man, they got you loaded with several of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this one in 1973 was of this young lady I showed you the picture of.
Yeah.
Would there be any reason why you're involved in this murder?
Yeah, why am I involved in that? You say DNA now.
Sure, yeah. Would there be any reason for your DNA to be on her?
No, definitely it would be no.
Okay. Do you know the name Leslie Perlov? Leslie Perlov?
No.
No? Okay. She wasn't a girlfriend of yours?
Oh, no.
Okay. I had to ask.
She's cute anyway.
Yeah, very.
That would
very
be
cute.
she'd be about 18 years old, I guess.
Okay.
At Stanford. Yeah, Stanford graduate. Yeah. But that's it. I don't even recognize her.
Why do you say she's a Stanford graduate?
Well, just by the way she dresses and all in
Okay.
this area,
Sure.
But, I didn't say graduate either. I said, she's a college kid.
Oh, okay. Now I know you heard about the guy that committed suicide in those
Yeah.
hills. At the same time, her murder came out at the same time. Do you recall seeing that in the paper? I mean,
No.
it was out there.
No.
Okay. So, and I know that you said your DNA would not be on her, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't be. I mean, not.
Yeah.
Why should I? I didn't even date a girl then.
Okay. You were married at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any idea who would do something like that back then?
Well, I don't know DNA. If it's so many points on DNA, couldn't be somebody else
Sure.
unless there's somebody in my chain or something, or the chain.
Okay. Is there anybody in your chain, like twin
No.
brother or anything like that? No.
I don't have
Older
a twin brother.
You have a brother, right?
Yeah.
Older or younger?
Younger.
Where's he live?
He lives in Modesto.
Okay. Where was he living in 1973?
I would say San Jose.
Okay. Now this young lady was obviously murdered, like I said. She was strangled.
Mm,
Would you ever think about doing anything like that?
nope.
Okay. What about? I know you had.
Except Sue when I was married to Sue.
Sure. After you found out she was cheating on you, right?
Yeah.
I know that you were accused of a sexual
Yeah.
assault, right? Would you ever think about committing a sexual assault?
I have no reason for it.
And I'm going to ask you these tough questions
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
part of the investigation. So do you ever think about doing anything like that? I think I asked you that.
No.
Okay. If
Now, if it was the last 5 years, it's up a tree. So
what's that? What do you mean?
if it was a crime like that happened within the last 5 years,
Mhm.
I'm impotent.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It don't work.
All right. All right. Yeah,
The thought's still there,
sure. Sure.
you know.
When you were younger, did you ever fantasize about sexual assault?
It's what it sounds like by looking at my record.
Yeah. Or killing a young woman? Okay.
No.
In this investigation, if your DNA was on this young lady, why would you think your DNA was on her?
Haven't the slightest idea.
Were you involved in the murder of this young girl?
Nope.
If I had a lie detector test right
I'll
now-
take a lie detector test.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What would it come back as? Feeling.
Should come back negative.
Okay,
Depends on what questions you ask me.
sure. If I asked you if you killed her, what would it say?
No.
And that's the reason I'm talking to you right
No.
now. Okay. All right. Give me a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm gonna get some water, and then we should be
Please.
done here shortly. All right. Just take a short break.
What time is it now?
It's It's about 10:45. Should be done here shortly.
All right, Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, look, another kind of, mini confession, or certainly confession creep. He kind of creeps him further towards it. Have you ever thought about a sexual assault when you were younger? It's what it sounds like if you look at my record. A better answer to that, if you weren't a criminal of this kind, would be you've been looking at my criminal record. I was wrongly accused of that. That's the answer to give. I guess you're bringing that up because you've seen my criminal record. I was wrongly accused of that. I did 6 years being wrongly accused of that, and I'm mad as hell about it. That's a fair answer. No, he says, yeah, it's what it looks like. If you look at my record, what it sounds like. What I love most about this, and I'll finish on this one, is that because, as you were saying, Scott, look, doesn't look like he's under a lot of stress, but then look at his visible relief in the whole of his body when the interview breaks, and so, it's great because we've got used to over time what his baseline is.
Yep.
of being in this interview, which is kind of like, not moving particularly much, moving a lot through his age. You're right, Greg, but still pretty still and looking pretty calm. But when that interview breaks, like there's a collapse on that. So that's lovely to see. So I guess, in all of this, you've not only got to watch what happens in an interview, but what is happening when the interview isn't going on as well. Everything around it as well. Chase, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, great points. And what he's doing here is these are the standard questions to transition from interview to interrogation. There's probably 100 of these that the purpose of these is to let you know when you need to pay attention to someone way more than everybody else. Interrogation, you don't transition when you know, oh yeah, that these questions mean they're guilty. That's not how it works. And the goal of an interrogation should be to seek the truth instead of a confession, right? So that's why we make that transition. So normally, in most interrogation trainings, there's about 13 of these questions, and he's going down the list perfectly here. It is a beautiful job, and they are working. They're doing what they're supposed to do. And I always teach most of interrogation is you're creating two walls and building a hallway for that person. One wall's made out of cognitive dissonance, the other wall's made out of anxiety. And that's about it. But the line about the polygraph is supposed to, we hope that it reveals more than it does here. The suspect is confident in this answer a little bit, but I don't think he would pass. Being a psychopath does not make you immune to stress that's associated with detainment and punishment. But I think he confesses a little bit here. He says the thought is still there. The thought is still there, and he's being asked whether or not he thinks about sexual assaults all the time. His answer first is that he has no reason for it. Not no, but no reason for it. So it's just, he's telling on himself a whole lot here. And I think maybe he's got a level of confidence after 45 years of not being found that's responsible for some of this. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, and I think that's the narcissism part of it as well. Thinks he's so smart, he's not going to get caught. So I think that's what's added in there on that part. Now, when he says, were you involved with the murder of the girl? And he says, nope. I could go, if I go with everything I've got, I'm just going to talk about what happened in the last video as well. So mine's going to be super short. But he says, nope, real quick like that, because he has no answer here. He's already answered these questions before, basically, in a nutshell. Now he's got to come back again. That's another reason that he's asking these questions the way he is, because he's asking once and he's seeing if he gets a different answer for the next one. Like when I was doing those synesthesia studies at Vanderbilt, they play a bunch of sounds and you had to draw them out. And then 2 days later, or they play, one or two of the same sounds in these big number, 50 sounds, and see if you were drawing the same sound every time to make sure you weren't full of it. And that's what he's doing here. He's asking questions again.
Repeat questions.
Yeah, to see if he can get it, to see if anything else comes, see if he gets anything else out. So that, again, that solidifies my thing that I was talking about earlier, is he's suspicious of other things he's done, whether he's been given that information that he's suspected of that or not. He's suspicious of it. I think that's why he's doing it. And then when he says, and then with the question about the lie detector, the polygraph, he says it shouldn't. No, the answer is no, it won't. It won't. You got one? Let's do that now. Just so you know, if you ever have to take one, you want the person you tell them, I'll take a polygraph anytime you want, but you get me the person that's been doing it the longest. And the older they are, the better they are for me. So if we can have that, I don't want the new guy, the new girl. You bring me the oldest person that's been doing that you can find, and I'll do it. Because a lot with a polygraph is the person giving the test. It's giving the test. It's not just what comes up on the numbers and all that. It's that person. That's where the art of it is coming through that person. All right, Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to start with the polygraph because I think he's coming apart here. I think he's a lot more coming apart than he appears to, because take this cluster of behaviors, and when you ask him, would it come back? How would it come back? He said it should come back negative. It should, not will come back negative. The next question, if I were interrogating him, because my personality is a little different than this guy's, would be, what does negative mean to you? Does that mean that you're telling the truth or you're lying? I don't know, because he's got an ambiguous word he uses in the sentence. And then he outright says, I will lie to you on some questions. I want to know which questions those are. Now I know he's a liar. It's just a matter of which ones he's going to lie about. And I would crawl up his ass on that one. That would be really aggressive, but I taught interrogation for a lot of years. I taught for the Army. I taught outside the Army as well. And I would tell you that I would always say there are two kinds of postures you can have as an interrogator. One is stern, the other is sympathetic. This guy's using a very sympathetic approach, which means he's going to be different than I would be, where I'm stern. I say, let's just get this out of the way. We're going to be respectful of each other. I think you're a lying piece, but I'm going to try to help you. I'm going to try to clear you. Now, every time you cross a line, I get aggressive with you again. And there's a couple of times that he doesn't do that. And if he did, it would change his entire direction, and he wouldn't have gotten some of this information. So he's doing a brilliant job. The first time he says, he starts to be aggressive with him. When he first asks the question, sorry, not aggressive. He asks the first question. This guy pops out an answer to where his brother lived in 1973. Well, I thought we couldn't remember anything past 5 years. So now I got another one of those things where you forgot to remember to forget. And this interrogator, of course, is not going to push him. In fact, Mark, I know you talk about a person having their feet out in front of them and I think you have to read the person. In this case, I think what happens a lot of times when people are confident, they put their feet and hands out in harm's way because they think, oh, I'm all that. And when they feel stressed, they pull them back in and hide them when they feel less confident. And we watch him when he makes that joke about Sue, push his legs back out and get all comfortable, put his feet in traffic. So it's really interesting to see him protect his assets, and I think he telegraphs what he's thinking. That second time he asks a question, and Scott, in my interrogation world, we call what you ask last when I know the answer to, that's a control question. In one where we're asking the question again in a different way, that's a repeat question. We use them all the time. And what you find here is when he asks that second question, he says no with a lilt at the end as he looks at the file and dossier. This is working. He's wondering, do you have something in there I don't know about? That's what he's doing. So it's really interesting to pay attention. Then Mark, the last one, I love what you brought up. When Cortez leaves the room and he said, we should be done here shortly, you get Getreu sigh, like a sign of whatever that is for him, whether it's admission or reconciliation or something's coming. But there's a sigh of exasperation, and then he goes into emotional eye accessing as he looks down to his right. Now, you can say he's a psychopath, he has no emotions, but psychopaths have emotions about themselves just about guaranteed. I don't know if he's a psychopath, but I do know this guy's starting to heat up. I think this guy's done a great job of pushing him in the right direction without pushing him over a cliff.
Greg, talk about why you're always saying I would do it differently because it sounds like you're going, I know more than this guy, to people who don't.
By any means.
Hang on a second, because they will think that you're acting like you think you know everything. You don't look like that. But what I'm saying is tell the kind of interrogations you did and why you see it from that perspective, because I think that's important.
Well, I was an intelligence interrogator, which means we deal with terror as well as terror is a kind of organized crime. If you think of it for just a second and treat terror that way, that's the way we thought of it and the way you treat it. So that's one thing. But the other thing is Chase, a soldier like Chase, and a sailor like Chase, if I get my hands on him, I've got to pull out information about everything he knows. And what you do is you figure out what worked. First of all, as an interrogator, we're not all going to be good at everything. I mean, anybody who says they're good at everything doesn't really understand how it works. And some people don't mesh with other people. It just doesn't work well. You see it occasionally. We've seen good interrogators make mistakes. So when I tell you stern or sympathetic and teaching that, I can flex and become fairly soft, but I'm not nearly going to be as soft as some other people. And knowing how you play your role and what works best will give you more leverage. I'll tell you, I've been interrogated in SEER school, and I've been interrogated a fair amount. And I would tell you the hardest interrogation I ever went through had nothing to do with an interrogator. It was an SF guy, Special Forces guy. And he came in and he basically said, I know you're lying. I don't trust you. Here's why I know you're lying. Now let's talk. And anytime you'd step outside of what he accepted as behavior, he would get pretty aggressive, not physically harsh, just tell you that you're full of it and that kind of thing. That's a stern style. This guy's got a sympathetic style where he's pretending to believe you to a degree. And he will close that loop. He has to get started pushing to a close. If you're going to try to get a confession or you're going to try to lock a person down, you have to move away from sympathetic and go towards stern at some point. And then you may flex back. But no, I don't think I know everything. I think there's a lot of ways to interrogate, and every person, regardless of which approach and place you go and you choose, you have to figure out how to string it together for yourself. I'll give you one last story. Working with two women interrogators in my life over time, one at SEER and another in another place, we had signals for when I was supposed to be the bad guy because I looked like the bad guy. One of those cases was a woman about my height and red hair. I mean, maybe a little shorter than me. And we were at SEER and I was had the guy doing, screaming, yelling, doing all this. And she came in, she's supposed to be good cop. She comes in, moves me out of the way and grabs a hold of him and starts doing the same thing. So it can be infectious. And I had to turn into the good guy. Another one where I was supposed to be the heavy and no one would give me a signal. I grabbed the guy, being aggressive, screaming and yelling. And she pushes me out of the way and starts being aggressive with him. And then I have to turn into the nice guy. As nice a guy as I can be. So it's all about role play. This is all pretend, guys. At the end of the day, everything we're doing, every prisoner of war will tell you no interrogator's trustworthy. They're all using tricks, ruses, and ploys because they can see it.
And like you always say, it's theater for one.
That's it. Theater for one.
Which is the key.
Is there anybody in your chain, like twin brother or anything like that? No?
I don't have a twin brother.
You have a brother, right?
Yeah.
Older or younger?
Younger.
Where's he live?
He lives in Modesto.
Okay. Where was he living in 1973?
I would say San Jose.
Okay. Now this young lady was obviously murdered, like I said. She was strangled.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever think about doing anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. What about I know you had...
Except Sue, when I was married to Sue.
Sure. After you found out she was cheating on you, right?
Yeah.
I know that you were accused of a sexual assault, right? Would you ever think about committing a sexual assault?
I have no reason for it.
And I'm going to ask you these tough questions because it's part of the investigation.
Yeah.
So do you ever think about doing anything like that? I think I asked you that.
No.
Okay. If
now, if it was the last 5 years, it's up a tree. So
what's that? What do you mean?
If it was a crime like that happened within the last 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
I'm impotent.
Oh, okay.
It don't work.
All right. All right.
The thought's still there.
Sure. When you were younger, did you ever fantasize about sexual assault?
It's what it sounds like by looking at my record.
Yeah. Or killing a young woman? Okay.
No.
In this investigation, if your DNA was on this young lady, why would you think your DNA was on her?
Haven't the slightest idea.
Were you involved in the murder of this young girl?
Nope.
If I had a lie detector test.
I'll take a lie detector test.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What would it come back as?
Should come back negative.
Okay.
Depends on what questions you ask me.
Sure. If I asked you if you killed her, what would it say?
No.
Okay. And that's the reason I'm talking to you right now. Okay. All right. Give me a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm gonna get some water, and then we should be done here shortly. All right. Just take a short break.
What time is it now?
It's about 10:45. Should be done here shortly. All right, John. We're almost done here. All right. Earlier I asked you about DNA. What do you know about DNA?
Just what I've read and heard on TV,
Okay, tell me about that.
What do you mean?
Tell me about what you know about DNA, what you've read, what you've heard on TV.
Oh, I mean, how they match it. I mean, I don't really know why I've seen on TV, but I know it's in books that I've read and
you said you read some books on DNA. What?
I mean, these are novels, like they're not any medical books or all.
And so, in a crime investigation, a criminal investigation, what do you know about DNA? What have you heard?
Nothing.
Nothing. Do you know DNA is transferred on people?
No.
No. How do you think your DNA would be on a person?
Don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
Especially this person or these two persons.
What two persons?
Well, that you're talking about.
Yeah.
The two young women.
Okay. I showed you a picture of that one young lady.
Yeah. No.
Okay. What's the second young lady?
The one up on the one up on the hill.
Okay.
Yeah. There's two different places you're talking about.
Okay. One of them's up on the hill?
Yeah.
Okay. And then up on what hill? Well, you mentioned the hill.
You mentioned it.
I mentioned the hills.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the other one? Because I don't remember another one.
Well, there's the two girls. There's not both the same place.
Okay. I mentioned one girl up on the hill.
Yeah, I mean wherever she was, wherever the second girl was.
Oh, okay.
I assumed they were both in the hills.
Okay.
In hills that I'd never been in.
Okay.
Okay, now on this one, keep in mind they've taken a break and they've just come back from their break. Chase, what do you got?
I spot a big pee-pee spot in the middle of his pants, and I think he peed on himself. So a lot of times when we have a stress response in our body, we try to use the restroom. Our bladder holds back and then unleashes later when we sit down, when we start walking, when we relax our torso. And I think that's what's happening right here. There's definitely piss in his pants there. So he says he learned a little bit about DNA evidence from TV. I want to shout out this guy here. The interrogator is Cortez is having a massive breakthrough, and he is resisting the urge to jump on it immediately. I don't know if I have that self-control. Yeah. He plays it cool, and this is just unbelievably rare in investigations like this. When you see somebody just start coming out a little bit, everyone in the room freaks out and starts yelling, and they're like, oh, this is it. We're so close to the finish line. I'm going to slam down on the gas pedal. When a suspect like this makes a slip up this bad, and it's obviously horrible, it's exciting and it's exhilarating in us, and we have to control, like we have to fake our way. It's not a big deal. When you see him, the way that you can tell is he's got his little pen, he's got his notes and stuff, and he makes that slip up, and then he kind of sits back a little bit, and you can see this. He's covering his mouth to keep himself quiet, to keep himself from talking. That's self-restraint right there. But right here, this John suspect is giving us the keys to the entire investigation in this clip. Amazing. And Greg found all these, by the way, and Scott cleaned them up. Scott spent hours and hours and hours cleaning all this shit up. The audio and video were two separate files, and they weren't timed the right way. Sorry, Greg.
Yeah, but thank you to Santa Clara Sheriff's Office. I mean, we're really happy. We want more of these. We can stitch them together, and this is beautiful. So, a couple of things. Yeah, I agree with you. One of the hardest things for an interrogator to do is shut up and listen. There's a thing called source leads, and this would be a source lead. And you can the way we think in the intelligence world, a source lead can be hot or cold. A hot lead means I need to find out right now, and that's usually about something imminent action from our enemies and that kind of thing. But a cold lead means you push it aside and you come back to it. When you're investigating, you don't want to play your hand and say, oh, that's important to me, because now you put him on notice. So he does a pretty good job of letting things float around. But look at all that animation from this guy talking about books he read. The first question out of my mouth would have been, I wrote it down before he said it, what kind of books? That would be my very first question, because I want to know, is this guy reading some kind of textbooks? Is he reading some kind of true crime? Because a lot of those investigators, or a lot of the people who are trying to hide, read things like true crime to try to figure out what they're doing right or wrong. We had people ask, don't we think we're teaching them? I don't think so. But then he goes to a question. When he first starts asking what kind of books, you see him get agitated and do a lot of face touching, which is new for him. We're not accustomed to that. When I say him, I mean Getreu. Then Cortez asks a question, how would your DNA get on a person? That's when he makes the stupidest mistake we've seen to date. I don't know, especially on this person or these two persons. And you can see, to your point, you can see Cortez go and just shut up. It was a beautiful thing to watch. And this is exactly how interrogation should work. You should see closing as a confession tool, and you use it when the time is right, not to coerce, not to progressively because even if you got a confession to the first murder, you would not have learned about this one. This is a source lead that needs to be fully developed. He does a great question, and he nails that next question. Which two persons? Getreu now realizes he stepped in it because he starts scratching that table and nervous laughter. Let me tell you something interesting about the scratching the table. I bet if you go in this guy's house or his car, his upholstery is a mess. His furniture is a mess, because when he's stressed, he does that. If there's any breakthroughs in the crime and he's watching on TV, I guarantee he's scratching his furniture. And so you'd be able to tell this guy where he lived, because he would make a mess of something in his car, his house, or wherever. I'd be interested if his wife was watching this, if she said, oh yeah, he messed up this and this and this. We'd never find out. Anyway, after he mentions the girl, after Cortez mentions DNA on the girl, we see him starting to try to normalize and try to speak again, but he's got a real problem now because he's grunting and he's not finishing sentences. He's editing as he speaks. And by that, I mean Getreu. The next series of questions this guy goes after have to really apply pressure now, because he's got the rope right against his neck right now. Scott, what do you got?
All right, so this is the first time Cortez really starts coming in and starts pushing on him, and his body language starts to show it and this is what I have to ask Mark about because of the planes, Mark. His arms go above his head. We haven't seen this really happen before this point. And he's not explaining anything. What is that then? What do you call that when he's up in the ecstatic? Is he still
ecstatic? Yeah, it's ecstatic. The ecstatic plane, which is usually the energy has got so high that either you're going to continue with that or you're going to have to suppress in some way. It usually goes you can't sustain it for very long. So it'll have to suppress in some way.
Okay. Because I didn't know if that was only when you're illustrating, talking about something, your hands go up there, you call it that, or if it counted when you up there as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can get people kind of illustrating with that. It's usually a little difficult to work out what they're illustrating. They're usually not able to really contain what they're trying to talk about. You see, their subject matter has escaped them as well.
Okay.
You know, like an evangelist preacher should get up there when they're being, the top of their evangelism, and then come down into the truth plane.
Okay. All right. So he goes in this big, huge head. There's a lot going on here, and I'm going to wrap this up with something. I think I'm correct about it. He does this big head scratch, and that's because he feels like everybody says they know about DNA, and I know what DNA is. The basics. If your DNA is on them, they can match you to it. But there are a lot of little details that come with that. So when Cortez asks him about the details, he doesn't know about the details. That's where he starts to go. And there's a lot of things that go along with it. He doesn't know what those things are. But at the same time, he's still running those scenarios because he doesn't know he's going to ask those questions again that he's asked earlier. He's got to keep up with those. So what Cortez is doing is sort of having a war on this guy's memory. And that's what we're seeing, because when he starts talking to him and he starts scratching his face and all that, that's when he lets out that information he knows about the other girl, because he's trying to remember what he knows about. Like Greg's been saying, remember, what do I need to remember to forget?
Right.
You know, so that's what's happening. He's trying to remember whether or not because when I'm thinking about something, I always do this. That's why I add that. And other people I know that are thinking about a lot, they'll start doing this too. And that's what he starts doing. So he's trying to remember whether he's talked about that before or brought that up or whatever. I don't know if Cortez knows that's what happened, but when I saw that, I was like, he knows. You know, if we ever get to talk to him, I'm going to ask him about that.
Yep.
So I think that's what happened. I think that's why that information jumped out, because he wasn't able to hold it back because he wasn't sure if he had said anything about that before or not. So I'll leave it there. Greg, what do you got?
No, Mark.
Oh, is that Mark? Okay, sorry.
Look, I'm just going to say one thing, and it's not really analysis of this at all, but just to remind people out there, what we're seeing here is that the relentless nature of this interview means that this suspect has pretty much just confessed to a whole other crime.
Yep.
Essentially, the interviewer had him there to talk about one crime, and he's just said there's another one, and where the body may well be buried as well. I mean, it's just extraordinary. I don't think we've seen this in any of our videos before. I don't think we've ever had this situation.
I don't remember one.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. So, I mean, it's, and there's nothing miraculous about it. It's just the guy's good. The guy's good. He's relentless, and it's fallen on his side, and he's just pretty much got a confession to a second murder and where the body would be. Brilliant. Just brilliant. Let's look at some more.
All right, Greg. I'll give it to you. Sorry, Chase. That was good. You were quick enough.
All right, John, we're almost done here. All right. Earlier I asked you about DNA. What do you know about DNA?
Just what I've read and heard on TV, you know.
Okay, tell me about that.
What do you mean?
Tell me about what you know about DNA, what you've read, what you've heard on TV.
Oh, I mean, how they match it. I mean, I don't really know why I've seen on TV, but I know it's in books that I've read and you know.
You said you read some books on DNA. What?
No, I mean, these are novels, like,
okay.
you know, they're not any medical books or all.
And so, in a crime investigation, criminal investigation, what do you know about DNA? What have you heard?
Nothing.
Nothing? Do you know DNA is transferred on people?
No.
No? How do you think your DNA would be on a person?
Don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
Especially this person or these two persons.
What two persons?
Well, that you're talking about.
Yeah.
The two young women.
Okay. I showed you a picture of that one young lady.
Yeah. No.
Okay. What's the second young lady?
The one up on the one up on the hill.
Okay.
Yeah. There's two different places you're talking about.
Okay. One of them's up on the hill?
Yeah.
Okay. And then up on what hill? Well, you mentioned the hill.
You mentioned it.
I mentioned the hills.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the other one? Because I don't remember another one.
Well, there's the two girls. It's not both the same place.
Okay. I mentioned one girl up on the hill.
Yeah, I mean okay, wherever she was, wherever the second girl was.
Oh, okay.
I assumed they were both in the hills.
Okay.
In hills that I'd never been in.
Okay. And you know about technology now, advances in technology
is getting good.
Yeah, so they're
catching them every day. They're catching them a lot faster than they did last year.
Yeah. Have you heard of people being caught?
Oh yeah,
DNA?
San Francisco on the news.
Which one was that?
Oh, I mean, there's several of them. I don't know their names. Yeah.
Nothing specific.
Yeah.
Okay. No. So you know about sperm. You know about saliva. Now, you mentioned earlier when I told you, hey, John, why would your DNA be on this young woman?
Mm-hmm.
And you said,
Go ahead. I said what?
You said a slim chance.
There's a very slim chance.
Okay. So if I was to tell you your DNA was on this young woman,
No, then there's something wrong.
okay, why? And I know I'm trying to,
You're trying to solve it.
I'm trying to solve it,
Yeah.
and you've been helping me out greatly. You're remembering a lot of things from back there. Obviously, it's a long time ago. You remember certain things, okay? I think I'm at a point in my investigation that,
I'm guilty, and that's it.
well, I'm trying, well, there's a couple things, John. Your DNA's on her.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not trying to find out who did it. What I'm trying to find out is why you did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you know more than you're telling me.
No, I wish I knew.
I think you.
What I remember, like I said before, after about 5 years ago, I've lost it all.
Okay. I'm gonna show you a picture. It's a little bit graphic, okay? And this is gonna be the young lady that I showed you the picture of. You said was a Stanford graduate.
I thought was it? Yeah,
Okay,
I never
yeah.
definitely said
Okay.
she was.
This is her. This is how we discovered her. Okay.
The one that, I
Yeah.
don't know which one it was.
Yeah.
No.
No, doesn't look familiar at all. Okay. Again, your DNA is on her. Help me.
What part of her?
Well, it's on her.
No,
I can tell you that
I can't
much.
help you.
Okay. Why would you ask me what part of her?
Well,
Does that make a difference?
Huh?
Does that make a difference?
Well,
What-
I mean, I'm trying to, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're asking me what part of her, does it matter?
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, it would
Okay,
be.
tell me about that. I mean,
What part of it would it be on her?
okay.
Yeah. Would it be on her hands? Would it be on her face? Would it be on her clothes?
Okay.
Yeah.
How about all of the above?
All of them.
Yeah.
It was on her hands.
Well, I'm asking you if it was on all of the above.
Well, it could be, if you say it's all of the above, I still don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't know how my DNA got on her.
Okay. Is there a way you can help me out to explain how your DNA got on her?
No.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you. I mean, did you hurt this young girl?
Didn't hurt her.
Did you kill her?
Nope. Did not kill her.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
Two big things in this video I want to talk about. One is the single best demonstration of when a non-contracted denial means something. We say it doesn't always mean anything, but he says, I love this. He says, I didn't hurt her. But when he says about the killing, he says, did not kill her. Didn't hurt her. Did not kill her. Very clearly enunciated. So we know he's lying about killing her, but we don't know whether he considers what he did hurting her or not. But really good example of that. So using two different words and two very different approaches in the same sentence. I love it. The other thing that I think is really good here is one of the hardest things in the world to do is to get rapport. And this guy's done a brilliant job of getting some rapport with this person. And rapport building is the most important thing you'll do in anything you do for a living. Unless you work alone, that's the most important thing you'll do. So in corporate America, I've taught people to build rapport, to get information. It's a big part of elicitation. You've got to get to commonality where you can understand each other. It doesn't mean I like you, you're my friend. It means I always defined rapport as a framework through which to exchange ideas or information. Simply that. One of the best tests you can do with it, period, is to stop short in a sentence and let somebody finish it. If they can finish your sentence, you've developed rapport. It's a good test. Works really well in corporate America, works really well in the interrogation room. And we see him do that really well here. He says, I have to. He said, oh, you have to clear this case. That's perfect. He knows it's working. But now he's gone to work on that table. If you hear him over there just scratching like some kind of a rodent over there, you can hear it as loud as hell. And Scott, I know that has to drive your ears crazy. But he knows this guy is a threat now sitting across from him. You can't miss the eye lock he's getting with him, but he's fallen for that ploy that he's been using. Now, when he gets to this other point, there's another cluster here that I'm just going to hit. He puts him on notice for selective memory to explain. If you hear him, he's saying, look, you said you can't remember things, and now you're telling me some things that you can remember. And so Getreu then knows that there's a reason for that he's locking him down. He's starting to push him into a corner. He can feel it. He says, "I'm guilty." Nervous laugh, scratches the table, and then shifts to, "I'm not guilty, but I can't remember those days." So or I was involved, but I can't remember those days. So he's now taken on a whole new approach that he's going to try to avoid. He's closing this. Remember in the first video, we talked about him closing down chapters. Because I can't remember it, I'm just going to close it down. And so I think what he thinks he's doing by saying, "I might have been involved, but I don't remember," is that, okay, then I'm sorry I wasted your time. Why don't we just let you up? This is a bargaining ploy by him right off. And now he thought she was a Stanford. I'm not going to beat all these up because there's so much in here. You guys can go after these for all day, where he's talking about her being a Stanford graduate and all that kind of stuff. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the biggest thing for me. It's just one thing. There's a statement of fact from the interviewer here. Now, I don't know whether it is a fact or not. I'm not sure in this jurisdiction whether the interviewer can lie or not. I don't know.
Most.
Okay. So, but the statement of fact is put forward. Your DNA is on her. And the reply comes back, yeah. Well, okay. Well, I mean, a better reply would have been utter injustice, anger around that. Like, how dare you? Like, you planted it. Like, you're just lying to me. Anything but, yeah. So
I don't remember it, so it's okay.
Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, and it is ridiculous in the context of, like, I don't remember that, but yeah, DNA's on it. Yeah, of course it is. So, just brilliant. Scott, where you got on this one?
I agree with you. It shouldn't have been that. It should have been no, that's not my, again, going back to that thing where you get just all worked up. There's none of that. And he doesn't have any of that in him to do it anyway. So he wouldn't be doing that. But that's what you would say is, "No, not me. Wait a minute. What are we talking about here?" But he should have done that early on. And this is the second time it's coming up with DNA on there. This is for him, I think it's out of control. I thought the interesting thing was where he says, where Cortez says, "Now, I'm not trying to find out who did it. I'm trying to find out why you did it."
Yeah.
And to God, I open up with that. That's one of the first things I say. I think I've told you about that, Greg. It's one of the first things I open up with. Yeah. And say, "Listen, I'm not here to find out who did it. We know who these people know who did it. They got all kinds of evidence and stuff that shows you did it. I'm just here to find out. I can't arrest you. I'm not going to haul you out of here or anything like that. I'm just trying to find out why you did it." You take that relaxed position with that. But he's waited that long for this. So again, I think he knew this guy was involved with more than he's acting like he's involved with as we go along. Because I would have opened up with, that's what I always, 90% of the time I'm opening up with that one. So that's the big difference there. That's all, because I'm going to go back again to all the stuff I've talked about so far. Chase, what do you got?
We could do a 3-hour episode on this.
Yeah, I know.
This one clip, we could do 3 hours on. I'll just say one thing. Greg mentioned the perfect non-contracted denial. That was the big thing I had in my notes here. But one thing I want you to pay attention to is the first question the interrogator says. He uses the word hurt here to soften the severity of the crime. It's a very effective and very common interrogation tool that helps minimize the severity of somebody admitting to something. And commonly, you'll hear phrases like, "Did you make a mistake?" And maybe it was consensual. Maybe something consensual happened between you two. And maybe you got into a fight after. Did you defend yourself? Do you remember defending yourself for any reason? So you kind of make up excuses just so you can get them to admit they were there. And then, so it's just kind of a piecemeal. Concentric circles is a lot of what that is. That's all I got.
Okay, Chase, I'll give you that one.
Good.
Nicely done.
And about technology now, advances in technology
is getting good.
Yeah, so
they're catching them every day. They're catching them a lot faster than they did last year.
Yeah. Have you heard of people being caught?
Oh yeah, San Francisco on the news.
Which one was that?
Oh, I mean, there's several of them. I don't know their names. Yeah.
Nothing specific.
Yeah.
Okay. No. So you know about sperm. You know about saliva. Now, you mentioned earlier when I told you, hey, John, why would your DNA be on this young woman?
Mm-hmm.
And you said,
Go ahead. I said what?
You said a slim chance.
There's a very slim chance.
Okay. So if I was to tell you your DNA was on this young woman,
No, then there's something wrong.
okay, why? And I know I'm trying to,
You're trying to solve it.
I'm trying to solve it,
Yeah.
and you've been helping me out greatly. You're remembering a lot of things from back there. Obviously, it's a long time ago. You remember certain things, okay? I think I'm at a point in my investigation that,
I'm guilty, and that's it.
well, I'm trying, well, there's a couple things, John. Your DNA's on her.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not trying to find out who did it.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to find out is why you did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you know more than you're telling me.
No, I wish I knew.
I think you.
What I remember, like I said before, after about 5 years ago, I've lost it all.
Okay. I'm gonna show you a picture. It's a little bit graphic, okay? And this is gonna be the young lady that I showed you the picture of. You said was a Stanford graduate.
I thought was it? Yeah,
Okay,
I never
yeah.
definitely said
Okay.
she was.
This is her. This is how we discovered her. Okay.
The one that
Yeah.
I don't know which one it was.
Yeah.
No.
No, doesn't look familiar at all. Okay. Again, your DNA is on her. Help me.
What part of her?
Well, it's on her.
No,
I can tell you that
I can't
much.
help you.
Okay. Why would you ask me what part of her?
Well,
Does that make a difference?
Huh?
Does that make a difference?
Well,
What-
I mean, I'm trying to, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're asking me what part of her, does it matter?
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, it would
Okay,
be.
tell me about that. I mean,
What part of it would it be on her?
okay.
Yeah. Would it be on her hands? Would it be on her face? Would it be on her clothes?
Okay.
Yeah.
How about all of the above?
All of them.
Yeah.
It was on her hands.
Well, I'm asking you if it was on all of the above.
Well, it could be, if you say it's all the above, I still don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't know how my DNA got on her.
Okay. Is there a way you can help me out to explain how your DNA got on her?
No.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you. I mean, did you hurt this young girl?
Didn't hurt her.
Did you kill her?
Nope. Did not kill her.
John, I think you had involvement in this.
Okay, I had involvement in it, but I don't remember it.
Okay. And I know that as we've been talking, I've been trying to help you jog your memory,
Yeah.
maybe recall some of the things from your past. My job is merely to find the truth in every investigation.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of factors in that. A lot of it now, of course, is evidence. And the evidence that we have points to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I wanted to talk to you is to give you the opportunity to tell me what happened.
I can't help you. I wished I could.
Okay. Nothing.
Especially when my DNA is on her.
Yeah. And I was hoping that, looking at these photographs, talking about your past, talking about the events of your past, I learned a lot about you, the type of person you were, growing up, becoming an adult, living your life. I was hoping that you could help me out with just giving closure to this family who lost this young lady.
Nope.
No? Can you give me an explanation of why your DNA is on her?
Sir.
No? Okay.
All right, I think it's fairly interesting there. Anybody want to start?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to start with this because I think we've all been marveling at the style that the interviewer has here. The perpetrator here says, okay, I had involvement in it, but I don't remember it. I mean, that's a complete confession. How does the guy stop himself jumping up?
Because there's more.
Laughing, clapping at his... I mean, how does he...
More.
He has zero... The interviewer has zero reaction to the utter triumph that just happened here. Like, my hat is off to him. I would just stand up and go, I thank you. I thank you. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Well, and what he's doing here when he does that all-in question, it's damn near an all-in question. Look, we know you did it. And that's the equivalent of Columbo going, just one more thing. That's the equivalent, but it's a concentric circle. It's a beautifully delivered one. He doesn't, to your point, he doesn't get up and celebrate and go, hey, I knew you did it, you piece of... It does a beautiful thing. Chase, one thing I was going to point out, you brought up the guy had a wet spot in his pants. One of the more interesting things that we know for a fact is that when you're in fight or flight, when you've got real limbic thought going on, your bladder literally expands and you're not aware that you've got all that urine in there. And then when you relax is when it becomes a problem.
I thought it was interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm reading my notes.
That's all right. I'm just, there's no anger here. I think that's all you need to really see. There's a confession with no anger about the accusation. Mm-hmm. So like when somebody's innocent, they get accused of something horrible, they're going to get pissed off. And it's not because they're some violent person. It's just because the accusation is a full violation of their sense of self. Mm. So you're attacking who they believe they are. And in this case, he's not attacking something false. Mm-hmm. So the anger doesn't show up. And that's always one of the biggest tells for me. Scott.
Okay. What I was going to say is I thought it was interesting when Cortez tells him he's given the opportunity to tell him what happened. He does that little snort, it's a little outward snort out his nose, like little dogs do. Little dogs do that when they're playing together to let the other one know they're not fighting. They'll make those little puffy kind of, not growling, but his little noises out their nose. But he does that. Of course, it's not for the same reson. And then he says, "Can't help you." It's things like
he's trying to appeal to his humanity, and I don't think there's any in there.
I don't think there is either. But I think you're right, Mark. He's got him. He's got him right there. So that's when you go and say, okay, we're done. But still,
it's the first time we see him touch his face, and when I say him, Getreu, touch his face and rub his nose. So I think he got his little limbic system on fire. And what's he going to do? Next time I get pulled over for speeding, I'm going to say, I don't remember.
Then he appeals to his humanity by saying, it would help this girl's family to let them know what happened.
Yeah.
Be able to put closure on it. He didn't care about that either. No changes in his body language than what we've seen so far. Just laid back on that chair as far as he can go, almost relaxed. So that's the gross part of the whole thing. Seeing somebody that has done all that stuff sitting there doing that. I'm sure he wants to get up and just smack the what out of him.
Well, what do you think? I mean, since we're batting this around, what do you guys think makes a person think, okay, I can just say, I don't remember? And what do you think they're going to do next? Because where do you go with it?
I mean, without going into the psychology of that, look at this guy's history. Like his first attack, he only got, he wasn't even imprisoned.
6 years.
He was sectioned
6 years.
for 6 years. And he's not been kind of caught or being held up. Wouldn't you be living in a world that kind of goes, I can just get away with this stuff? I only got 6 years for the first one. It's like, so that's the universe that he's detecting right now. So above and as well as the possibility that there's a psychopath there, also the rest of the world hasn't put a lot of pressure on him around this.
Well, I think what it is giving him is this. That's his first attempt to do some kind of bargaining, some kind of negotiation. I think we see then more of that coming up in the coming videos because of it.
Yeah. Okay, we good?
Yeah.
Don't sound too excited.
I'm so tired, man. I got up at like 12:30.
What are you talking about, dude? You usually get up at like 4.
I got up 12:30 a.m.
Last night.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear about it.
For just
let's get through this
at that time or be.
I have a 2-year-old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
And I got a dog that Mila had 4 bones of her tail chopped off.
Oof.
In surgery.
What happened?
Well, no, it was wrong.
They got shut in the door.
Yeah, that's tough.
While we were in Texas. And Then she ate through her stitches and everything, and bone was sticking out.
Does she get the cone of shame?
Oh, yeah.
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 Bless her heart.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
John, I think you had involvement in this.
Okay, I had involvement in it, but I don't remember it.
Okay, and I know that as we've been talking, I've been trying to help you jog your memory, maybe recall some of the things from your past. You know, my job is merely to find the truth in every investigation, and there's a lot of factors in that. A lot of it now, of course, is evidence, and the evidence that we have points to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I wanted to talk to you is to give you the opportunity to tell me what happened.
I can't help you. I wished I could.
Okay. Nothing.
Especially when my DNA is on her.
Yeah. And I was hoping that, you know, looking at these photographs, talking about your past, talking about the events of your past, I learned a lot about you, the type of person you were growing up, becoming an adult, living your life. You know, I was hoping that you could help me out with just giving closure to this family who lost this young lady.
Nope.
No? Can you give me an explanation of why your DNA is on her?
Sir?
No? Okay. How can I close this investigation with you, with your DNA being, you know, involved in my investigation as far as evidence?
I don't know.
How does it make you feel though, learning that?
I really don't know. It's, you know.
I know you're a smart person, and you know that, you know, the DNA links you to this murder of this young woman.
Mm-hmm.
How does it make you feel that this links you to her?
I don't know. I know it makes me feel that there's something wrong someplace.
Okay, what do you think is wrong?
Huh?
What do you think is
They
wrong?
got the wrong person.
And how do you think there's the wrong you're the wrong person?
The DNA. I think they got my DNA mixed up with somebody else's.
Okay.
I mean, why it's taken so long for one thing.
Yeah.
You know, because their DNA is unsolved mysteries or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. So you think your DNA being on this young lady that was murdered, it was there because it's the wrong person?
It's the wrong person.
Okay. You think it's the wrong DNA?
Wrong DNA. My DNA is from someplace else.
How do you think, okay, if it's from someplace else, how would it get on her?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Okay. Any reason I can give my bosses saying that you're not involved in this?
Your boss says that I'm not involved.
Well, I want to be able to tell him, like, you're not involved in this. Because all the evidence shows that you are.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
You can just tell him that I'm not a suspect or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay.
You know, I got a doctor's appointment today. My wife doesn't know where I am. I have no cell phones.
All right.
You know, I asked him if, you know, I didn't ask him. I just loosened the handcuffs.
Yeah. They're a little tight on you, huh?
And that's it.
Is there anything else you want to tell me about this investigation?
You're wrong.
Okay.
I don't know anything else.
You don't know. I don't know anything. You don't know anything else about it? Okay.
Except what you gave me.
Okay.
I think the thing that's about to get on my last nerve here is him smiling there at the end. He's like that little battle there in between there. He to him it's like a little game at this point. and he doesn't care. And he's laughing through some of this stuff where you would never laugh in this situation. What?
I think
I
it goes
think
to what,
that he believes that he's got to do a confession. Like, unless he confesses, they're not going to have enough to pin him. Whatever murder mystery he's been reading, so DNA didn't work or something like that. So I think that he's got an out if he's like, I don't remember. And I will say, as an interrogator, the phrase "I don't remember" is the most difficult to overcome if you're ever in the interrogation room.
but there are tools. There are tools. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm not going to divulge those tools because I don't want people using it for that reason. But yeah, the key for me here, Mark, you said it last time. You know, we could see him starting to move into some new place because he's never been held accountable ever since that first time. Look, he starts listing reasons why it can't be him. And one of those is I got a doctor's appointment. My wife doesn't know I'm here. It took so long for the DNA to show. None of those say it can't be me because I didn't do it. Not one of them says that. Not one of them says somebody stole my DNA. You know, I had a blood test last week. Somebody put me in. People would come up with all kinds of outlandish reasons, but not, I got a doctor's appointment. It's been so long. Wife doesn't know I'm here. Where's my cell phone? It's just outlandish to your point.
So point of order on this, because, and I don't know anything about the case, which is why I'm asking, but does anybody know if they, at any point, they even collected any DNA from this guy?
I don't know, but I think, they had to use it in court. I don't know where it went.
Well, but he's not in court at the moment. So
no, he's been in the system. He's been in the system before from a crime he committed during a scouting trip.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they would have collected he'd have flagged.
Yep. Well,
is that why he's in the interview in the first place?
No,
because he's.
I don't remember all those cases, all those parts of the case, Mark. I candidly just didn't go dig in. But yeah, they whether they had DNA or not, when they bring him in, book him, they can do that. What's really brilliant to me, though, is this guy's managed to push him this far without making him ever think of a lawyer. Maybe it's just arrogance. Maybe it's something else. But if you tried to play hard ass, the guy might have said, "That's it. I want my lawyer."
Well, that would be my number one before I'm even in the room.
Oh, me too.
Like, you know what I teach?
Like, arrest me first, and then I want a lawyer.
I got a squirrel in
I'm
here.
not going in the room.
Hang on a minute. I got a squirrel climbing out of a box over here.
Is this Megan the squirrel? Seems to be your recent infatuation.
Oh, so hang on a second. If I don't take her.
I'll just keep going here.
Yeah.
When I train police, I always teach them when the person comes into the door, they always walk me through the pathway and like what they see, what do they get exposed to, posters on the wall. But I always tell them, the moment the foot comes in the door, that's when the form is signed.
Yes.
You don't sign the form in that interrogation room. And the speech, I give it differently every time, but the speech is always like, no matter who walks in here, whether it's a grandma or somebody's great aunt who sings at the church, everybody's got to sign this one form. And it's as you walk in, as if you're signing papers when you walk into a hospital or a doctor's office.
Right.
So that's familiar in their brain, so it triggers less of a reaction.
Well, it's the reason you don't use the word interrogation in interrogation ever. It's the reason you always avoid those things. You know, in any place you got liability, it's always smart to disclaim that liability out front so you don't bring it up, whether it's interrogation or something else. You don't want to get people in there and say, well, you know, most places, if you're around horses, have a law that if you are involved with horses and you get hurt, it's not the owner's fault, but you probably should have them sign a waiver. You don't do that when they're sitting on the horse. You can sign it first because you're trying not to alert their brain. And that's a beautiful way to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Scott's come back missing an earlobe or something from a squirrel attack.
No, they get in through the fireplace. This one, Teresa, one of my favorite squirrels. Scott sounds crazy. I got to cut this out.
I'll send you some squirrels.
She comes in this room and I've had a video on it on Instagram. Like 2 years ago or last year when she did it, and she's doing it again. I got to go there in a minute and make sure it's not a nest or something.
Why don't you put a screen at the top of your
amazing? Yeah, she did it last year, and she's doing it again. Oh, yeah! How surprising!
I think she's getting lost.
I think she's coming to where it's warm.
That could be it too. That could be it too. Yeah. But maybe she's falling because there was another one, the other chimney on the other side of the house. It was a little baby squirrel had fallen down in there.
You know, they make squirrel proofers for chimneys.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to do something.
Oh yeah.
You own a
House.
terrier, but you also don't want to kill Teresa. So
No, that's why I had to pick her up. She wouldn't, but see, she wouldn't chase she didn't chase.
Mine would. Mine would.
Yeah, we're dealing with a little tiny dog compared to I rode one of your dogs last time I was there.
No, my rat terrier would. I mean, she will attack a squirrel and they weigh almost as much as she does.
Oh yeah. Peach loves to go for squirrels. Can't get them, but
Hattie doesn't do that. She stands there and looks at him. I guess because I don't make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't either. My dogs just are predators. They live on farms.
Hey, remember when you were sending me pictures of that?
I sent him a picture of my little rat terrier
Don't
with a squirrel.
Oh,
Carrying a squirrel.
Yeah, there was carrying something else once.
Oh yeah,
too.
I won't cover that one yet, but that was pretty bad.
It was gross. I almost vomited.
So do we all? We should wrap this one probably. What are we seeing? What do we think we're seeing? Somebody's gotten away with for too long.
Yeah, he is. Oh, he has. But and we're seeing the ego of the psychopath come out, and he's not getting angry. He's still trying to, almost like he's trying to be friends with Cortez. He's trying to keep it on that level.
Did a good job.
Yeah, because he's coming on with that thing like, I'm just a guy here, doing my job, man. Let's, tell me about so and so, and that he doesn't take that. That's why I think. Remember the last episode, Chase? You said, maybe he shouldn't have gone in so early, or usually you wait till that's what it was. Usually you wait to the end before you lean in and start that. I think he was leaning in early, so he would seem just like a normal guy. I'm just trying to, lean in, trying to talk to him.
yeah, that's his style, not mine. That's all.
Yeah.
Everybody works differently.
That's right. This is chemistry, not algebra.
Yeah. Mark, anything?
No, haven't we got another video?
Yeah. One more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Like and subscribe.
go.
How can I close this investigation with your DNA being, involved in my investigation as far as evidence?
I don't know.
How does it make you feel though, learning that?
I really don't know. It's,
I know you're a smart person, and you know that, the DNA links you to this murder of this young woman.
mm-hmm.
How does it make you feel that this links you to her?
I don't know. I know it makes me feel that there's something wrong someplace.
Okay, what do you think is wrong?
Huh?
What do you think is
They
wrong?
got the wrong person.
And how do you think you're the wrong person?
The DNA. I think they got my DNA mixed up with somebody else's.
Okay.
I mean, I've gotten, why it's taken so long for one thing,
Yeah.
because their DNA is unsolved mysteries or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you think your DNA being on this young lady that was murdered, it was there because it's the wrong person?
It's the wrong person.
Okay. You think it's the wrong DNA?
Wrong DNA. My DNA is from someplace else.
How do you think, okay, if it's from someplace else, how would it get on her?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any reason I can give my bosses saying that you're not involved in this?
Your boss says that I'm not
Well,
involved.
I want to be able to tell them, like, you're not involved in this. Because all the evidence shows that you are.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
You can just tell him that I'm not a suspect or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a doctor's appointment today. My wife doesn't know where I am. I have no cell phones.
All right.
I asked him if, I think, no, I didn't ask him. I just loosened the handcuffs.
Yeah. They're a little tight on you, huh?
And that's it.
Is there anything else you want to tell me about this investigation?
You're wrong.
Okay.
I don't know anything else.
You don't know. I don't know anything. You don't know anything else about it. Okay.
Except what you gave me.
Okay. when I mentioned to you about this young girl being found up in the hills, you also mentioned the second girl. And what was that again? The second woman, the second girl?
Well, I just thought that, you know, you just showed me a picture and I don't know which one's which.
Okay.
Now, that one there doesn't match the body part of the other one. Body part is a figure.
So you're talking about this picture that I gave you?
Yeah.
The one you said was for college graduate?
Yeah.
You're saying that doesn't match this one?
Yeah, that one there doesn't even look like the same girl.
Okay.
One, I think she's wearing a white top.
Mm-hmm.
And is that one there?
What is she wearing?
No, let me see that one. No, they both got the brown.
There's a closer one.
They both got the. No, I'm talking about the white blouse.
What do you think she's wearing?
She's got a white blouse.
Yeah,
on,
she's got a white
long
blouse.
sleeves.
Yeah. No?
Show it to me all the time, and I still can't jog my memory.
Okay. Yeah,
Look, I'm local.
Yeah.
I'm married.
Yeah. You're not going anywhere?
No, I'm not going nowhere.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I wanted to give you the opportunity to tell me how your DNA was on this.
Yeah, I don't know.
And you're telling me you don't know.
I do not know.
You think this?
Unless a tick up there or something.
Okay.
Could
All
be
right.
a bug. Who knows?
Okay. I think we'll be done shortly. I'm almost done here.
You said that 3 or 4 times
I'm
already.
trying to get you out of here, Tony.
I got to get out of here.
Okay. All right.
All right. So, Mark, I know you've got a lot to say about all the pictures in there. Well, yeah.
Well, I was just writing down that it looks to me, it starts to become like an Abbott and Costello routine, you know, like a hat routine where, you know, everybody's holding each other's hat and then somebody ends up with all the hats. In the end, the perpetrator here is ending up with all the pictures in front of him. And again, it's just a brilliant technique for cognitive overload.
And you can tell that this thing's coming to an end.
Yep.
Because there's so much happening all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to overload him right there at the end too.
Well, I think so. Well, because I mean, he's on a roll here because he could have left it at a really what was a pretty much a confession, but he's now going for the second one. He's like, I've scored once. Let's see whether I can score again. And he's gone to this second crime and he's overloading him with that. Greg.
Yeah, one of the things you do is use black and white photos for a reason. Because when they tell you what color the shirt is, you're like, yep, I knew that too. And I think he may have handed him a black and white photo, which is kind of cool because he's saying it's white shirt.
So he uses the words up there to describe where the tick might have gone. So second time, he admits that the DNA is most likely vaginal here.
Yep.
And then we have this big ass yawn that happens here. And people still think yawning means like I'm bored or I'm relaxed or I want to go to sleep. It's totally not the case when it comes to internal stress. So that little half yawn that he kind of choked back, that brain is literally overheating from the stress of all this coming to a head. And when this happens in situations like this, the skull turns into a little microwave. So the jaw drops, we let some cold air in. The brain temperature actually can drop about half a degree. So it's not boredom. This is like our little emergency radiator system. So yawns actually, this is proven in peer-reviewed research that yawns will spike during shame.
And it's right at the moment somebody else feels a gap between who I am, what really happened, and what I'm pretending happened. But if you watch a boardroom full of sociopaths in Silicon Valley, a cheating spouse, a suspect in an interrogation room, somebody starts bullshitting and suddenly half the room looks tired because of the stress from that situation. So next time you catch one in a situation like this, don't call it out. Lock eyes and then smile. When you see somebody yawn in a situation like this, they're going to feel that heat spike again. And then you'll know who's full of it.
Anybody a little creeped out by the body part comment? And then his scramble to define he meant her figure. That's a creepy one.
Yeah. Still familiarity, I think, is what that's showing. I think that goes there. I mean, obviously we know it now, but when you listen to that, you go, I think that's in there, man.
Well, I never thought of using the old tick defense. That's how my DNA got on somebody.
Yeah, everybody uses that old chestnut.
When I mentioned to you about this young girl being found up in the hills, you also mentioned the second girl. And what was that again? The second woman? The second girl?
Well, I just thought that, you just showed me a picture and I don't know which one's which.
Okay.
Now, that one there doesn't match the body part of the other one. Body part is a figure.
So you're talking about this picture that I gave you?
Yeah.
The one you said was for college graduate?
Yeah.
You're saying that doesn't match this one?
Yeah, that one there doesn't even look like the same girl.
Okay.
One, I think she's wearing a white top.
Mm-hmm.
And is that one there?
What is she wearing?
No, let me see that one. No, they both got the brown.
There's a closer one.
They both got the. No, I'm talking about the white blouse.
What do you think she's wearing?
She's got a white blouse.
Yeah,
on,
she's got a white blouse.
sleeves.
Yeah. No.
Show it to me all the time, and I still can't jog my memory.
Okay. Yeah,
Like I'm local.
Yeah.
I'm married.
Yeah. You're not going anywhere?
No, I'm not going nowhere.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I wanted to give you the opportunity to tell me how your DNA was on this.
Yeah, I don't know.
And you're telling me you don't know.
I do not know.
You think this?
Unless a tick up there or something.
Okay.
Could
All
be
right.
a bug. Who knows?
Okay. I think we'll be done shortly. I'm almost done here.
You said that 3 or 4
Yeah,
times
I'm
already.
trying to get you out of here, Tony.
I gotta get out of here.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, those things seem to go fairly fast at the end there when we just talk about it. Mark, what did you see so far up to this?
Yeah, look, here's my shout out here. Love what Cortez is doing here. If you know Cortez, give him a shout from us. Would love it if he had a look at what we're talking about here. We think he's great. Chase.
Yeah, the last clip here is so beautiful. And what it reminded me of when I was watching it was a Darren Brown routine. And Darren Brown's a mentalist in UK. I very highly respect that guy. But he's like, it's doing cognitive overload, and it's really classic. The suspect here has given up everything with his body and of the mistakes that he's making with logic and data. I think this is a great case study of how powerful it is. If you just had one question in your mind throughout this whole thing of what's missing here, it would be one of the most powerful things you could ever hold in your mind. And it would show you everything that you need to know.
throughout these videos. Greg?
Yeah, what's beautiful here is to watch a guy come in and say, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not me. Oh, well, I don't know what you're talking about. What about the second girl? Oh, it's not me. Oh, yeah, my DNA was there, but I don't remember. Oh, there must have been another way my DNA got there. Oh, how about we discuss this? I got to go home. I got a doctor's appointment. This is one of the funniest, creepy, sad, horrible stories we've ever seen. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but I think he does a great job on this. Cortez does a great job on this. And if you're watching this, Detective Cortez, please, I think Greg,
I've gotten in touch. Come on. We would love to have you on.
Come on the show and just talk to us. We'll put you in a little box like this. We'll just talk about this for a little while. We won't take up a lot of your time. We'll take up as much as we possibly can because we're so excited, but we'll try to keep it short. So if you'd come on, that'd be awesome. All right, fellas, thanks for another good one, and we'll see you next time.
The Behavior Panel.
Scott, telling an interrogator you're going to put him in a box. That's great.
I was thinking the same.
I'm not afraid of anybody when I go in. Not afraid of them.
That's funny.
Dude, you should have seen the squirrel. It scared the living shit out. You're going to see me get the
Did you
shit.
pick it up?
Well, no.
Here's a suggestion for you. Go to Tractor Supply and get some welding gloves just in case you ever have to put your hands on them.
Welding gloves. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Oh, those aren't
Hard to
too
bite
big?
through. Oh, they're stuffed. They're puffy, but they're hard to bite through.
Okay, because I don't know what kind of, I've been,
Also, you need them
Yeah, they come up your arms to
all
here.
the way up here.
okay, because I didn't know what,
It's going to bite you around here.
I didn't know what kind to get, because I've been thinking about that. I've been looking, but I didn't know what
Welding
to look for.
gloves.
Welding.
And Tractor Supply have them, or Northern Tool, or any.
Home Depot.
Okay,
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'll do.
Yeah, the other thing you might want to get, which is maybe not your thing, is rat traps, because that's
No,
squirrel.
no, it's like
Have a heart. Have a heart is a good one. You know what have a hearts are? Doesn't
yeah,
work.
but I don't need a trapper. She'll go right. She's done it before. She'll go right out the door. All I got to do is get behind her, and she'll keep looking at me.
But that's Teresa. You know, you've named her after my ex-wife, so I already don't like her. But that squirrel, that's the friendly squirrel. Wait till you get one down there. It doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, wait till Teresa brings her friends.
She's gonna bring her friend.
Gets in your
Getreu.
walls.
Yeah,
To the wiring.
the little fat one, Getreu. You met this guy yet?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Yeah,
Psycho squirrel.
Yeah,
So I'm going to, I got to go to bed.
Yeah. You
Oh,
did.
you have sweet
Good to see you, man.
dreams, sweetheart. You sleep tight now.
Thanks,
Hope your
Bill.
doggy's okay.
See you, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. You guys be careful.
Yeah.
See you in a bit.
Yeah.
Take care.
See you all.
See ya.
See you all.
Bye.
Good one, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Yep. Later.